Yeah. I'm kind of appalled, like, the fact that I can't even get some of the Yu-Gi-Oh references. Like, it was kind of something I probably should have watched when I was younger. And I'm just, I'm here like, oh yeah, Exodia. Oh yeah, this is very cool. It's one day.
Right.
One day I'll get the references.
Exodia. I've got them in the flesh.
See, I don't know what you're saying right now. I don't know what's going on.
Exodia is like, if you get all 5 cards in your hand, you just win the game.
Right.
That's it. The game ends.
Exodia. The game ends. The game's over.
The Forbidden One is his name.
You don't even play it out. Just instantly you get the cards.
You just win the game. Yep.
Okay. So, obviously they haven't got Exodia. The game hasn't crashed yet for D2 Hustlers. But do we feel like it's close enough to Exodia that it is, the draft is favoring them very heavily?
Like, the lanes aren't as good as they were for Ivy in game number 1, but I actually like their draft better than what they had previously. I'm just going to go, like, lane to lane and see how it all looks out. So Mirage is playing the Pangolier. He's up against Tusk. Tusk should do just fine there, right? He's got basically the same right-click, but in terms of the strength gain, you're going to eventually be able to be outright clicking and shoving the lanes out. So that should be pretty null and void, like pretty breaking even in that one. What I do want to see change a bit more is some rotations coming through from Ivy to be able to secure these power ins for Mobe, because that's something that D2 Hustlers did amazingly last time. Topside could really go either way, to be honest. I mean, Alex died a couple of times giving up First Blood, of course, PO, and now you've got double stuns and extra damage as well coming through. So I could definitely see them getting kills up on this top side. And bottom, Visage, Hoodwink, probably weak-ish, but in terms of being able to control a tree and protect his influence in the lane, I think it's pretty damn solid. So I'm giving Ivy a slightly stronger chance than last game, but they still need to clean up what they actually do with their draft. They've got a Visage and a Lesh.
Yeah.
Once you get the strength, push. Do something with it.
And that's a big thing. I think their draft still, like the fundamental level is still very similar with how they need to take the game as the previous one, where you need to kind of group up, take objectives early. The Visage is going to itemize very similar to the Enigma. You just don't have that defensive support in the Abaddon to kind of help out with the Leshrac sustain. So one issue that we really did see from them is that when they weren't taking... The only way to force fights from Ivy in last game was taking objectives. At least this game, you've got kind of the Tusk that can start, the Hoodwink as well if you're paired up with someone else in a side lane. So like their playmaking potential is definitely much better than last game, and I think that was a big concern. So you don't have to be all in on this kind of death ball push. Mirage is, this is not a fun position to be in. Is Mobile beautifully done. Shards holds him straight into place, and the Tusk is able to find First Blood, and the solo kill. He's got that bottle picked up. He's going to shove the wave completely under the tower, so the Pango is going to miss a little bit here.
And he's going to probably get both water runes here on Mobe, so a fantastic start to this game. Getting that First Blood gold, denying away half of a creep wave. He's done a really, really good job here.
And we were seeing the praises of Mirage in that previous game. Was really impressed with his Batrider. Of course, he got the MVP, and I think without a doubt it was due for him. Even though Shad had a great game on the Lina, going 8-0-9, it was definitely Mirage for me. And well, now Mobe being able to pick that up with First Blood's going to give him some confidence as well.
I'm wondering if Alex, he's got about 200 gold that he's got saved up. I kind of want to see him go into something like a Raindrops here as soon as possible, because that really feels like the only way he's going to die. Like, Ricky has such insane armor. He's already going to have the Blink Strike to be able to get out of harm's way. You just got to prevent being burst 100-0. But he's doing a fairly good job of creating space away from Divine Llama at this stage.
What can the Ricky kind of provide the team here of D2 Hustlers? Because it's not that really annoying combo with the Ricky Mirana. So is there another combo that they could look to play with, or just a different game style that we could see out of Alex in a game like this?
I think he just needs to play around the hero that wants to... It depends what mindset D2 Hustlers are in, right? If they're in a we need to be pushing forward and taking towers mindset, then he needs to be playing near the Enigma, because he's the one that's going to be doing a lot of the tower taking. If it's more of the we need to protect Shad, whether that be in team fights or wherever he's farming, he needs to be playing behind him, because the one that's going to be killing this Lina or the Enigma is going to be the Tusk. So if you can get that smoke screen off once he uses the roll in, then you're not going to have that Walrus punch, and he's still going to be just fine.
See Alex looking to jump on forward. Divine Llama's got the add-ons to play with. Cookie's actually going to go over the head of the Enigma. And Pio's out of mana as well. Does have some mangoes if required to continue the aggression, but will not be needed as both sides once again just going to trade the spells, dwindle down the resources. Mirage mid lane might be in some trouble. Snowball up shortly, but looks like Mobile is going to back on off. Look to try and get the water runes. Will be one apiece.
That boots of speed shortly. It's only a full level ahead, actually. Mobe after this lane, so fantastic job. Even small things like avoiding that swashbuckle. He's going to get out on the winning end of any kind of trade pretty damn easily.
Large net worth lead as well, 800 here for Mobile against the Pango, so he's going to be up. I was thinking about going to get the bounty, not the case, so we'll back on off. He's got the creep wave to look to deal with, so we take a look how the safe lane's going for D2 Hustlers. Of course, Shad had a incredible game, and we'll see if that's going to continue to be the case here. It's not a too hard of a lane matchup for him to deal with, though, so should be able to get a lot of farm on the laner.
I mean, Lena's very happy for this lane to be pushed further back towards him. Of course, the safety of the tower, but also there's just so many more trees for Angel to be able to play around, right? He's looking to go for a bit of a warding mission up onto the top side of the lane just to prevent any kind of TP rotation from coming through. Yep, just being that big body in front of the Lena and doing a good job at it so far. Good lane?
Good lane, yeah, Mobile.
Solo kill.
Oh my, look at that. Another solo kill picked up. Get some respect as well with the tips. Some shenanigans going on inside the jungle. Vincento chasing down Alex, who will be able to steal one of the bounty runes and TP back to base. So dragging the Snapfire away from the lane, but really that big one to look at is Mobe and how this mid lane's gone to the moment. Top of the net worth, 2 kills. Phase Boot's coming out shortly as well, and he's also got the support to try and help secure the power rune. So this could start to snowball. Of course, no pun intended then. Oh, God.
I love it. I'm infecting you.
Vincento. Oh, Snowball actually does connect. See if they're going to have the damage this time. Look at the power.
Cheeky.
No, they will be able to find it. Mirage actually looking to turn it back around. First Rolling Thunder usage of the game. He's got plenty of walls to be able to bounce back off. Mobe's just waiting for his opportunity, though, to enter. And yeah, they got to be cautious. He'll turn to Alex now instead. But the punch is still on cooldown, only for 1 more second. He will sidestep back in to get another kill.
That creep had a mind of its own, just leaping away from the Pango, just trying to get a little bit more harass before the Snapfire goes back to the base to regen. But yeah, another great laning stage coming out from Ivy, particularly around that mid lane. Really emphasizing the fact that you've got some solid mechanically skilled players coming through here, and the power of those raindrops just continuing to be effective, allowing those dives to happen. Actually got a smoke coming out here. Shove the lane in very quickly, move up towards the top side, but yep, it was underneath that ward, so they should know exactly what's happening. You can see that Pio ends up backing off a little bit to be able to play maybe a bit close to his tower. Actually got a counter smoke coming through from Ivy, just trying to hit up onto the back lines, but they land it.
Chain control needs to be perfect for the smoke cloud.
Smoke.
Stop the scatter blast damage, so Mirage going to be able to step one out. I like that timing of the movement nonetheless, though, from D2 Hustlers, even though it doesn't work out. There was a time where Pio was left solo, he didn't have the level 6, and you had the catapult timing from Hustlers. So if you're able to get the kill with that catapult in the islands, and the tower would have taken a lot of damage, but a good attempt. Mirage instantly TPing down with a Rolling Thunder, and look at the kill onto the Visage. So even though the movement top lane doesn't work out, Mirage still able to get something out of the map.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of similar to what I was talking about on the top lane for this bottom lane for Ivy. You got the double range, so that kind of movement is always going to result in a kill. It, of course, does require you... This is actually a little bit of a lot of spells committed here, and yeah, with that double damage, were they able to completely clean him up? Lena's going to need to back off entirely, maybe even TP out to the other side of the map as they look to commit further. Looking to cut through the back lines, and yeah, Shad knows to get out of dodge.
Oh, he's going to go for it. Black hole up top from Divine Llama. They'll have plenty of damage with Shad being able to TP in, so beautifully done. Look at the kill, Black hole on cooldown. So Leshrac into the grave for a little bit of time and is able to free up this lane now as well for the Lena.
I don't know about Coop and Vincent leaving, though. They were moved all the way down to the bottom side. Only one of them has TP. And I really don't think moving up top is going to do all that much. Meanwhile, you're up against a Treant Protector who just has the 2 points in the living armor at this stage with a Visage. I think you really need to try and push that bottom tower as quickly as possible. Maybe just feeling like without the familiars they weren't quite so able to, but it's a lot of time wasted by supports just walking from one side of the map to the other. They will, of course, know that no black hole available might lead them to feel a little bit more confident in making a gank attempt happen, but we'll see here if Coop's able to hold them off from taking this tower.
Very easy. I need some more boys to help out. Mirage has got the Rolling Thunder already, so the Hustlers have that big ultimate.
They're just trying to shove out lanes wherever possible, right? Vincent sitting mid, getting, of course, that super valuable experience. Will Mobo get lucky? Yes, he will this time around. Of course, securing that illusion rune for himself. Could be quite useful, especially now that we're about to reach that 10-minute mark. So if Angel gets into the level 6 pretty quickly, which looks like he's going to with all his solo XP he's getting.
Top lane.
Illusion rune for the overgrowth would be huge.
Tusk is TPing in. They're going to try and target down Shad on the Lina. They should be able to blow him up relatively easily, although Shad standing strong, tries to turn it around, but the damage isn't enough. Here comes Mirage with a Rolling Thunder. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive as Lina will go down? But still, they've got the numbers advantage to turn it around as D2 Hustlers find a second. And now they can chase down Vincento as well. There's no tower to protect the Snapfire. Goodbye, Llama. Nice use of the Quelling Blade to be able to get rid of the Bushwhack. Regardless, it wouldn't have been enough to hold down Vincento as in the end, D2 Hustlers find 3. And all it comes at the cost of Shad's life.
Yeah,
Bottom lane, they're even setting up as well. Angel has got that overgrowth like you're mentioning, so Only's going to be in some trouble. Shad's going to be able to provide the damage to bring down the Visage. They're starting to TP down on Ivy, and it looks like Only will just be able to slither on away. So Ivy, keep the Visage alive. That's the overgrowth now on cooldown as well.
I liked the movement, and they probably should have been able to get that kill up top a little bit easier. I'm not sure what the interaction was, but the Bushwhack just didn't end up landing there on when they went for it onto the Lina. It seemed like about the same time that the ice shards were being tossed, but I don't think that should really change much. I get some free damage from the tower into Mirage, but he'll be able to walk on away.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Bottom tower, though, is not looking too healthy at the moment. D2 Hustlers doesn't seem like there's much they're going to be able to do to keep it alive. Pio, only 1 point in the Edict, but you've got the Familiars as well, so Ivy will be able to find their first tower of the game. Angel's making them work for it, though.
As he should. That's the thing with a Treant. It's not about you winning. You just want the other team to lose. You know, you want them to hate your life.
Well, that's a big kill. Vincento and Mobai in combination together. Punch into the Mortimer Kisses. This is even without the blink as well from Mobai, so he's able to catch out Shad, and it's a much different game we're seeing on the Lina. Previously, flawless game already, 2 deaths for Shad.
Might be even able to dodge out the Sentry Ward as well. You can see that they've got some vision that was previously placed up by Vincento. They were pinging up on top of the cliff, so that would be extra value if you're able to just waste a few more resources out of the supports on D2 Hustlers.
We're making the attempt down bottom.
Push down bottom. This might be all that they need to be able to try for at least a push attempt in middle. No Treant Protector for 25 seconds. Lane pretty healthily pushed in. Could very easily look to go for this, or at the very least force a glyph with the Familiars hitting the bottom tower, but have to back off for now.
Really, the X factor in a lot of these fights is going to be Mirage and the Pangolier, that Rolling Thunder. A lot of the control, especially in an area like this mid lane where you got multiple walls to bounce back on. Of course, a great answer to the Visage as well, so it's going to come down to how can Ivy look to address Mirage, and even after the rough laning stage that he had, he's still going to be able to pick up his farm. Almost a Fusel Blade completed.
Now it's just being annoying. Looking to take out as many couriers as he can. He's got enough money to be able to buy the Aghanim Shard already, even though it's pre 15 minutes, so having a pretty good game so far is Mr. Ricky. Just that roaming observer ward, essentially. He knows exactly where he can walk around this high ground vision, not wanting to reveal his positioning, not want to let his own wards be removed too easily.
I think it's a go time here for Ivy. Oh, actually, okay. Mobile actually went for the BKB, but regardless, he's got the double damage rune. I'd love to see them make a play with this now on Ivy. Even though you're so close to the BKB, there's a power rune that can definitely secure you a kill, and if it's a kill onto a right target, potentially the tower as well.
Up top, black hole onto just a hoodwink, and be happy enough to be able to claim that one there. Just keep this lane pushed in as much as they can, force someone to come back and defend this. Of course, Lesh isn't really in a position to. They can see how low Lesh is on the mana. Of course, has Bloodstone available, but you need to do damage to get the damage. Sorry, to get the mana back. So, again, this is just D2 Hustlers understanding the different capabilities that Ivy have at different stages of the game, right? They know that Lena's not really in a position to die because A, they killed one of their high damage dealers, B, they can see the Tusk, C, they can see the Leshrac with no HP. So I think the only period where they're really going to be very concerned is once this Lesh hits the Boots of Travel timing. That plus the BKB on the Tusk is when Lena needs to be playing a whole lot more conservatively.
Would you like to see Ivy try and force his tower down now with the catapult timing and knowing the black hole's on cooldown?
I wouldn't hate to see it, but again, I'm feeling a little bit less confident with the fact that you just are lacking a little bit of mobility on the left.
Kisses the start.
Yeah.
They saw Mirage use the swashbuckle and he won't be able to make it up the high ground as well. Vincento, no hesitation. As soon as the swashbuckle was used, just lay it down the ultimate. So you've got to heavily commit for this tower now. You can't just bring it down towards a low threshold. Otherwise, the Stream Protector is going to be able to heal it back up. So you have to take it with ease. And, well, maybe with a kill onto Alex will further enable this push. As now with 2 heroes into the grave, this should mean that Ivy can get the tower for free.
Nicely done. This is already a big improvement from what we saw in game number 1, right? Securing these big objectives that are going to enable you to breach the Lena's farming ground so that she doesn't reach this unstoppable force.
Hospice
get this
lane.
going to Mobe.
Oh, Overgrowth's going to allow Mirage to be able to move all the way over with the U-turn. And the Cookie doesn't get enough distance away. An opportunity for Hustlers to bring down their Tusk. And they pounce on that straight away.
He had the raindrops sitting in his backpack and wasn't able to get off the magic wand. Ends up getting the BKB delivered just as he dies as well. So could have potentially gone for the turnaround there if they felt that they were in the right position too. They're actually going to consider going into this Roche pit. I'm not sure they've got the greatest damage for this. Just the 1 point into the lucky shot. With quite a low death timer on the Tusk, and Ivy, they're not going to let this one go for free.
Not going to be a replicate of last game, giving up the first Roche for free. As once again, Alex will be blown up. And now Ivy, what's the call? Can they take this with the Tusk respawning? They've only got 1 point in the tag team.
That's still plenty. I mean, you've got a Leshrac there. You've got no point in the little shredder just yet on the Snapfire, but I feel like, again, you know that the Black Hole is on cooldown for the next little bit. You know the Rolling Thunder was just used previously, so this is one of those positions where they're just playing a little bit too timidly.
Angel.
Roche.
Shard's able to block the Stream Protect on the higher ground. Mobile's even going to be able to roll on forward to Mirage as well. He might be forced to use the Rolling Thunder defensively, but cute with the bushwhack from downtown. It's still not enough damage now, and now Shad can look to turn it around. Is Mirage going to look to re-enter the fight, but the instant use of the BKB from Mobile being able to protect him against the Rolling Thunder, and they'll get nothing out of it. So both sides able to reset. In the end, it's just the Stream Protector that dies.
I want to say he had the Walrus Punch available there and didn't use it onto the Pangos, so that's potentially a kill gone missing. They do have this double damage, though, and with the Rolling Thunder used, I'll be feeling a little bit more confident of being able to just walk on into this Roche pit. They've got great vision around as well. Might want to see them drop a sentry to the left-hand side of the Roche pit just to stop any kind of Ricky shenanigans, as Alex actually ends up walking under it right now. Could they quickly burst him down? Yes, they will.
You bet they can. Oh,
yep.
That's a lot of damage. All right, there we go. Yes.
Well.
we see the adaptation from them from game 1 to game 2 now. Like the plays with how aggressive they're getting, using those timings with the black hole and cooldown and that catapult to take the T1 tower mid. Then
Drafting
you also make sure
responses
you
to
don't give
Lina.
up. Yes, drafting responses to Lina. You see you don't give up that first Roche for free. In fact, you get it for yourself now. So Leshrac has his Aegis to work with, and Pio, you're still very, very farm. 3rd in net worth. He's actually going to be going the Lotus Orb as his next item. Had the Boots of Travel queued up for a little bit. But with this Aegis now picked up on Dire, what can we expect out of it? Do they need to just chill for a little bit, get their next item, and then go? Or are they actually still already in fighting shape to look to occupy some of the map?
Sorry, I'm just getting a little distracted by the Wraith Pact that you've got here on Owned Me. Not really seeing a ton of value out of it, to be perfectly honest, right? Like, Tusk, sure, a little bit out of it, but do you feel like the Pipe would have been a much better item against this? Even a Lotus Orb, to a lesser extent? Greaves? I would have taken a Greaves.
Yeah, I would have taken a
the
Greaves.
Overgrowth.
I think what it just tells me is that the supports on D2 Tossers do no damage. Like Ricky Trine, 0 damage is coming out from the supports. So you don't have to really worry about them. It seems like you just spoke about, like Ivy in the draft, they really looked to try and change around with how they were dealing with the Lina. If they were going to let it through the pool again, they wanted to try and draft some different counters, and it looks like they're even trying to play and itemize differently to counter the Lina. That being said, like, still she does a lot of magic damage, even though you don't kind of go Dragon Slave maxed out, but the Maelstrom procs is still a lot of your damage as well. So how much the Wraith Pact is going to be able to help out,
Yeah.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. I mean, it's going to be heavily based on the positioning, and it is micro of the actual Wraith Pact totem, right? If Lena's not able to hit that, you end up getting a ton of value. You might even disable some blinks if it's in a really good position as well, just with the pulsing of it. And yeah, I mean, even if Lena is forced to hit it, that's damage that isn't going in onto the Lesh or onto the Visage. So that issue of a little bit of lacking damage on D2 Hustlers might be a little bit more of an issue than they were hoping. Looking to address his own survivability issues as well. I was about to say nearly getting into the Aghanim Shard on Own Me, but he's going into a Buckler instead. Just trying to give a little bit of extra armor to himself and the team.
It is a different game, though, in regards to D2 Hustlers. Not all their farm is just solely on Shad. Like, we see that Divine Llama is getting a lot of farm on the Enigma, and something that we brought up in the panel is the fact that Ivy have no way to address this BKB black hole, which is going to be a very big concern, considering he's just a couple hundred gold away from that recipe.
No Tumbler's Toy, but I think he's got the Eye of the Vizier coming out to him, so we'll have that little bit of extra cast range to land those red black holes in these team fights. And he's doing the right thing, you know, keeping the top lane pushed out. Again, it's a pretty early tier 2 tower that they've let fall on Ivy, but just enables them to pick up this extra little bit of farm as they go for a smoke on D2 Hustlers. Was, I believe, underneath an Observer Ward, so they should be able to respond to this, just putting Vincent onto the front lines to be able to tank up the majority of this.
Everybody's going to be cautious as well. Having the high gun, Angel gets the jump, the Overgrowth is just onto one. Not the greatest way to start the fight for D2 Hustlers. Mirage is going to look to turn that around. Rolling Thunder, Laguna Blade, cutting away the life for the Snapfire. But can Mirage actually get out? He's going to the wrong side of his teammates, and it looks like there's nothing they do to keep him alive. They'll be able to blow up the pain clear, and they'll turn their attention over to Alex as well. As Ivy, yes, you lose the Snapfire to start, but you'll take multiple members into the grave with him.
Nice little jukes out, and again, the power of vision, right? They wouldn't have the Snapfire set up there otherwise, and you should probably have a pretty decent idea that D2 Hustlers just set up their own vision on the top of that cliff, so should be able to close that one out. You've also got a siege creep still remaining on the bottom side of the map, so might be able to use this one to help pushing in this tower, at the very least force out a glyph, you would assume. It's damaged. Theo is able to dish out as, there we go, there's the glyph. But
nice wraparound. Great wraparound. You've got firm control of this bottom side of the map. Should be protected with the BKB. They're doing a lot of damage early on. He'll look to snowball forward onto Shad, but Shad, in fact, turns around with his own magic immunity. Divine Llama, can he get in range for the black hole? Not the case, as Ivy will be able to reposition the Tusk. Alex actually goes up on the higher gun, but of course still has his own mobility to play with.
I think you're fairly happy with that. You know, you forced out a BKB onto the Lina. That's such a huge part of her survivability. You force them to use the glyph as well on the bottom side of the map. So with this lineup, with a Leshrac, with a Visage, who just hit the level 12, by the way, is going to be able to do some serious damage in terms of reducing the map control.
With the double back here from Ivy. Straight away the jump onto the train. Mortimer Kisses as well. Ooh. Maybe hoping they could get more kills out of that, catching out the heroes retreating, but it's a big ultimate now wasted as Hustlers. Mirage even going to use his own ultimate in the Rolling Thunder, jump into the middle. But the boys are kind of split, so they won't get any value out of the Rolling Thunder, so both sides kind of expending some ultimates unnecessarily.
I don't necessarily hate the Mortimer's Kissage usage, just because it's the Treant Protector that they got, right? If they used it to kill the Riki, I'd be like, yeah, probably not all that worth it. But they needed to immediately look to try and take this tier 2 tower on the bottom side. No Treant Protector alive, plus no glyph means a dead tower. But they've just kind of been a little bit slow once again, and means that Pango is able to get in position to be able to stop that push from happening. They were able to get away, and they forced the Rolling Thunder out, but it's such a short cooldown that it's going to be up for the next time they're ready for this push. And again, all the while, look who's farming. Shad, taking the top position again on this Lina.
It's a concern then. I don't know. We saw what Shad was able to do in the previous game, and the fact that he's still, even though he's had 2 deaths this game, top of the net worth and getting all he would desire in regards to farm and experience out of the map. Are you going to have the responses as the game goes on? Because we spoke about the Lina Leshrac matchup, and he's going to be ever so happy with that. And really, it seems like the Skadi that we're waiting for, and Shad would be the Hurricane Pike beforehand, but once you get that Skadi, that is the ultimate spike.
Dire are scanning.
Ivy might be able to run into him though, Shad. It's on the higher ground, Smoke's not going to pop. Let's see if they continue to trail in towards Radiant's own triangle, but not the case. They're going to sweep into their own jungle instead, so more time for D2 Hustlers. It really feels like Ivy are on a ticking time bomb, right?
Possibly. I mean, Devi Lama having the Blink Daggers could be enormous for them, right? Only 400 gold away. Getting into that level 15 as well, so just a little bit of that extra health, you would assume, is what he's going to go for. I mean, Ricky's not really going to get that much stronger as the game goes along. Pango's hit big timings for himself, Blink Dagger, Aghanim Shard, and the Diffusal Blade. It's really just all about the Lina, right? So I just want to see Ivy put a little bit more priority onto getting some of that deep vision down in not so obvious spots so that you can find exactly where the Lina is, especially if you're able to make plays like they have previously and force out that BKB. I don't hate this, though. Taking the tier 1 tower top, again, they know that there's no glyph for the tier 2. They know Roshan spawning in about 2 to 5 minutes, so why not? Why not put a little bit more pressure on this side of the map?
I was going to say, might be in some trouble. Pango is starting to charge up the Rolling Thunder, but they'll think twice about going for that attempt instead. And I will be able to catch up to Alex on the Riki, so they're putting their own pressure onto the side lane. Shad's going to be able to force PO to be able to TP down to bottom, so just kind of drag them across the map.
Yeah, it's a Riki, and you have a look at where every single core was. Lina was bottom, Enigma was top, Pango was farming jungle underneath his own vision. So they're just going to look to continue to grow that net worth, even at the cost of a Riki, who, again, doesn't really need items at this stage. He's going for a gem next just to be able to sweep across the map, make things even safer for Shad and the rest of the cores.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Now you've got that Blink Dagger on Devi Lama. You are nearly into the 4-staff and level 18 on Shad. He's looking a little bit scary, and they don't have the Aegis to be able to play around with either. Might be able to get this tier 2 tower bottom. He's going to need some more boys playing behind him, though. They're actually doing a great job playing on the front line.
Yeah, pops the smoke, and they're going to look to go in now. Mirage with the jump, Devi Lama threatening with the black hole. It's actually going to be Angel that holds him into position as Mobai getting put down low. Snowball to be able to reposition, blink away as well. And now Ivy going to look for the turnaround, but the Mortimer Kisses laid down. There will be no follow-up to hold them into place, so Ivy can reposition, but same too with D2 Hustlers. And in fact, back-to-back smokes here. How can they get the opening?
Centaur Conqueror just stomped Own Me out of spite. They're tired of just dying randomly in a lot of these team fights with all the AoE damage that they've got. I really wanted them to commit a lot more heavily onto this tier 2 tower. Like, you were able to get the BKB off on the Tusk, and Once that's done with the intent to retreat, I don't think you're ever going to win a team fight. I would have felt much more confident if the Lesh just continued staying down bottom, use the Diabolic Edict, take the tier 2 tower, take control of the entire jungle, and then you just feel a little bit more confident to be able to make these plays, right? But instead, they just get nothing out of it other than Tusk's BKB now being down to 6 seconds. You will be happy, though, that he's going into that Aghanim Scepter. I know you love the Walrus kick.
You love a good Walrus kick. Be able to reposition the Lina, kick her out of the fight, or even into the middle where you're able to blow her up. But that's important for D2 Hustlers that they use 2 smokes and get nothing out of it just before Roche. I guess one thing that I was going to say, they had a really nice ward inside Ivy's jungle, but that's going to get dewarded, so we do have second Roche up in 5 seconds, and not having a smoke to potentially contest this could make it a bit difficult with the positioning on D2 Hustlers.
Yeah, Alex, he's roaming around a little bit. He's got that gem picked up for himself. Even having the Ogre Seal Totem, providing that little bit of extra mobility, sending out to him on the courier very shortly, as they know now Ice Shards sent into the pit. Okay, really wants to make this kill happen, and PO, he's holding on to a lot of gold once again. Could go for the BKB, could go for the Scythe of Ice, but he needs to be joining the rest of the team when they know this big objective is ripe for the taking.
Last smoke. So are they actually just going to try and sneak Roche? We saw them do this in the past. Chad considering about running in, but they're going to go for the wraparound. Ivy's in an okay position. Keep him mobile. You'd hate for the Tusk with the first one caught out. They've got the ward on the high ground to scout him. And up with the Rolling Thunder follow-up as well with a Cookie. Trying to help with the reposition, the Force Staff as well. And Ivy have done such an incredible job once again to get out of harm's way of this Rolling Thunder. And now this is an opening for them. So they're going to look for a smoke and see what they can get. They might be fast enough to catch D2 Hustlers out on their own triangle.
And Lesh has spent this entire time farming as well. So he's just continuing to build up his own net worth. He's overtaken Shad once again. And this is sort of the vision that I was talking about. They don't have anything up right now.
Actually jumped up, so instant mobile. Walrus punch to chain controls there along with the damage, but he got the axe shot off. Mirage protects himself. The swashbuckle's not enough to keep him alive as Ivy crack him. But meanwhile, Divine Llama, it's a black hole, but it's only onto the left track. It's not enough. They needed more out of it, and they won't find it. Canceling the BKB TPR. Divine Llama will go down, and now they're going to try and chase down Alex as well. Walrus to try and get him out of danger. Is it enough, Alex? Looks like he'll live, but Ivy, an opening now for them to consider about taking Roche.
Yeah. Very, very happy they must be with being able to secure this one. Get 3 Aghanim shot. You would assume the Snapfire. Even the Hoodwink would be a pretty value pickup here. But, yeah, little plays as well by Hustlers. Alex ended up passing the gem off to his courier as he was looking like potentially falling down, but this is the big thing. I think Ivy have already learned from game 1 to game 2. Like in a much more commanding position, not just in terms of how they've been able to navigate this first 30 minutes, but also their potential to close this one out just feels so much stronger with this Visageless Rack draft. Now it's just a question of what do they want to do next. Again, they've got this Boots of Travel to be able to play around, so with the Aghanim's, the Aegis, PO feels confident enough to be able to farm away from the rest of his team, and they could just look to roam as a unit of 4. With the Aghanim Scepter being finished up on the Tusk. Just look to play as a ball, get into that BKB, get that level 20 on the Lesh, and to try and close out this game. Oh, that'll help.
That will indeed. Not that for too long, only 30 seconds, but gets a kill onto the support, who's kind of really that side lane defender. So we'll be able to get some of their waves in a better position. Divine Llama? They're starting to cut through the jungle. They might be able to intercept the Enigma. Vincento's even going to try and use the Mortimer Kisses as well, potentially forcing out a BKB from the Enigma, but the Hex is there. Mobi's able to jump in. Beautifully done. Oh, I was going to say, almost blocked him inside the shards, but Mirage was still playing with the blink.
Nice micro coming through as well from getting the Eidolons to push out the wave. Just little things, like he might end up falling down, but Divine Llama is never... His impact is always relevant, you know? So that's going to prevent them from being able to easily take this tier 2 tower on the bottom side. By the time Divine Llama's respawned, he's going to have that Blink BKB Guardian Greaves all available. So It isn't lost. They're going to try and potentially push down this middle lane, but again, the power of a tree and protected just throws the living armor.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Can they finally take a tier 2 tower? That's the question.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It just takes them so long to finally get this lane pushed in where they can even contest it, and by the time they've done that, you take a look at the other side lane. Top shoved back into their tier 3, so Pierre has to go back to try and defend this. But Alex doing, Ricky's freed up the map so he can start to try and look to D-Ward, so very similar to last game what we saw D2 Hustlers, just looking to try and play the macro game, stall out this Aegis.
They got to commit onto this tower on
Radiant's
bottom.
tower
Surely.
is under attack.
Surely they commit. They've got a creep wave. It's super low. They use the glyph. Just play behind the visage, I think, is the name of the game for them right now. Maybe wait for the next creep wave, but I don't want to see this tower get healed up once again. Angel's been doing a great job so far of making sure to make that his top priority. Looks like that's the call. Push out the lane super quickly.
Radiant's bottom
Creeps.
tower
Well, the
is
creeps
under
won't take it up, but Tusk's tanky enough. There we go.
Radiant's
Tier 2
bottom
tower gone.
has fallen.
Outpost gone. Tier 2 mid should be gone pretty soon, considering you've still got 2 minutes left on that Aegis. Shrek building into his BKB. I mean, I don't think you need the BKB to take a tier 2 tower. I think potentially going high ground, that's what you really want to be saving that for, but you're not going to go high ground unless you
Dire's
breach those
top
outer
tower
towers.
is under attack.
Top lane continuing to be a really big issue. Would you like to see support play here? I guess
don't think they
Pierre with
need
boots.
to. I mean, he's got the boost of travel, but do you really care? Like, I don't think they're in a position to be able to take this just yet. Like, Lina doesn't have anything to be able to escape, right? No Shadow Blade, no Blink Dagger. So if like Tusk TP's back, you can just Walrus punch her before she gets out. I think you just need to be playing aggressive.
You can go now. You cleared 2 waves. Bit of an opening. You're not going to have to worry about that top wave for a little bit of time. So got that Aegis to work with. Do you see D2 Hustlers though? They're out their own triangle. Ivy will look for the wraparound. They got a double damage rune as well if they want to look to pick that up before the fight. But Mobai, well, he wants to jump in without it. An easy kill onto Alex. Divine Llama's going to look to enter with a threat of the BKB, but they'll actually just kick him out instead. So they'll look to reset. Angel caught on the low ground. An easy kill for them to find as well as Ivy takes 0 casualties. And now with this, they can look to occupy the map as Ward instantly drop down in the triangle. And this will give them the control they need to be able to bring down this tier 2 tower.
I wonder if they do even consider going up onto this high ground. Only 25 seconds left. You got the BKB coming out right now for the Lesh, so there shouldn't be any period where he feels super vulnerable. Best case scenario is if they were to pop the glyph, but they're going to hold off, realizing how important it is to be able to have that double glyph on the high ground, especially with how low the Aegis timer is. Shad, still the same objective for him. Get into the Skadi. Be able to just stand and right-click and be able to survive through the Tusk burst when he gets onto you. Mobe has been playing a fantastic game so far.
It's really the Mirage show in game 1 on his Batrider, and we saw ever since the start of this game too, Mobai wanted to kind of have his own little MVP performance as Pio will run into the Enigma. BKB still on cooldown for Divine Llama, so Pio is just going to look to target him down with all the magic damage. And Overgrowth into the Force Staff actually keeps Divine Llama alive, but the supports Angel will be chased down. They could still turn it around though, with Shad's right-click damage will rip apart the Leshrac, and now they want more as well. A buyback coming out of Angel, but Mirage, he's in 2 minds of whether to stick around. It's going to be Shad that actually looks to run on forward. Cookie will be able to reposition the Visage. They want Alex to get that sleeping dart out, and they will be able to find it from downtown. Setting up for Shad's stun, and an easy chase down for D2 Hustlers to find. It's finally they'll be able to take a successful skirmish.
Looking pretty decent for them. I mean, they get the kill onto the Leshrac, of course. Going to be value every single time, but the lanes aren't really in a position for them to get too much from it. They'll get the tier 1 tower, and that is going to enable a few more smoke attempts for them. Actually, Mobai have something to say about that, but I think even him, with how well he's been playing so far, isn't going to be enough to dissuade this. He really wants that level 20 for himself, just for being able to spam out his abilities a little bit more frequently.
I'm going to go for more here on D2 Hustlers. So with the cooldowns being there from Ivy, so D2 Tower should go down for free. There will be no contest, it looks like. Alex might be able to find one of the members behind. Gonna be cautious with the positioning, but I also think twice about that. So there we go. 2 towers from D2 Hustlers. Now they can look to shove out the side lanes and get them in a good position before Ivy have all their 5 members back alive.
It just feels like not a repeat of the last game. I think Ivy have stayed in this one for so much longer, but you've gotten to the stage where Lina, not unkillable, but getting close to it. You know, the Skadi nearly finishing up the level 25, going into the Gleipnir as well, so just an extra layer of control. It just puts so much pressure onto you, right, to make your BKB usage perfect every single time, and well, if it's not, it's going to just be lower and lower duration. Down to 8 seconds on PO, so not too bad, but Tusk already all the way down at 6.
What do you think the call is then in the team fights for Ivy? Is it really just on Mobai to jump in and kick away the Lina and then take the fight in a couple of seconds, get a kill, and then reset when Lina kind of puts herself back in a position where she can get that damage out?
With all, like, if D2 Hustlers don't make any mistakes, then I think that is the name of the game, just because Alex has been caught out a few times, you know, prior to team fights even beginning, and I think he's actually such a key component forcing out that BKB on the Tusk, right? Because the Ice Shards is still going to be an issue, and the Snowball, the Walrus Punch, if you can get that smoke screen off, then suddenly a huge part of Tusk's utility is gone. Force out that early BKB usage if you can. Playing their own game though. Sweeping across the map with the gem on the Tusk. Level 20, so extra Walrus Punch crit. Even going into the Heaven's Halberd, which I really like. You know, you use the Blink Dagger onto the Lina, use the Walrus Punch before she's able to pop her BKB, just halberd her, so that even if she does use it, it's wasted. You're just going to be standing around doing nothing, and then it's just a case of following her. She'll need to essentially TP away to be able to get anything done.
Yeah, even Vincento went for his own halberd as well, so that was the itemization that he was going for in the previous game on the Abaddon, to look to try and address the Lina, so I'm going to go back into that. So you can clearly see in their itemization, they heavily trying to mitigate Shad's impact.
Yeah. Not sure how much luck Vincento is going to have with being able to get into halberd usage range against Alina. I feel like if he does, he's getting black holed or he's getting smoke screened or something. But, well,
which
again, it feels to me like it's still all on Mobai for Ivy, and I don't even know who would be the most important player on D2 Hustlers right now. Maybe an Angel.
Feels like there's a lot. It really feels like there's a lot here, right? There's still this looming threat of just this black hole from the Vailama. We haven't seen the greatest usages out of his big ultimate so far this game, but like you said, like Angel can have a lot of impact as well in regards to the in regards to the overgrowth, even the potential rolling thunder from Mirage if he can get in Shad's position, maybe with the damage. It really just feels like for them, like there's a lot of people that can be that X factor in the fights.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just throw yourself at each other anymore, especially around this, is this third Roche that's about to come up?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's such a key component to any sort of success coming through. Ooh, okay, they're going even more stuff to try and force these BKBs at inopportune times. The Nihilism being picked up next by PO, just about 1,500 gold away from the Leshrac Ags. And, I mean, that just means that Lina's not going to be able to right-click. So you've got that, 2 halberds, BKB piercing disables in the Walrus Punch and the Walrus Kick. Like, Lina's life is not easy, and that's a big reason as to why Ivy is still, you know, I'll say in this game, because Dota Plus says 50-50, essentially.
What would you put it at?
Honestly, I would say about the same. I think it's going to come down to mechanical skill at this stage. You know, both teams feel like they're capable of full-on team wipes pretty damn easily. It just depends on how you're going to enable this Lina. You know, it's on the back of forcing out BKBs through maybe a Rolling Thunder and then having an Overgrowth as a response to it. Or if you're able to get in a nice early BKB from the Lina by, you know, a Tusk blinking in or something along those lines, then you can reset and then reinitiate after the fact and then look to take her down. So it's all about
a lot of that, and a lot of that comes down to the vision. And both sides having the gem at the moment, so helping out a lot with their warding. Radiant in their own right have the kind of Eidolons to scout out, the Riki to scout out, but Dire, you can kind of use the bush, sorry, the Acorn shot.
All right, cards on the table, Aries. If you had to pick a winner at this stage, who is it?
Hang on, Divine Llama. Yes, the Arcane Rune's juicy. I guess they both set up for a double black hole, and Ashanti to get all the damage in they would require for the follow-up. Snowball, it's not going to be enough to keep alive as Angel's got the jump in as well, but the Overgrowth holding the Visage into place. It was an instant buyback out of Incento, but they don't have the Tusk to rejoin as well, and Roche is up in 10 seconds. So this is a big opening now for Radiant.
That's right, Aries. It is D2 Hustlers with the slight edge at this stage. Definitely going to take this one from before that team fight happened. What a great black hole coming through from Divine Llama and setting up right in front of this Roche pit. I mean, I understand wanting to buy time for the Leshrac getting into this, but I really feel like he was banking on having this Aegis to be able to play around with, right? Because you're going to need to drop something to make this Aghanim Scepter a factor, and you just can't fight without the Tusk. It's such a big portion of your damage right now.
And you're not going to be fighting with the Monomid Kisses now as well. They used it to try and scout out Roche.
He's got item slots freed up.
A little bit too late for the jump. Shad, what do they get? Aegis, Aghanim Scepter.
They got everything.
And they got everything. And now, actually, Alex on the high ground. Ivy was still sticking around. They've got Tusk up in a couple of seconds as well. They're going to be cautious, D2 Hustlers. Don't have all your abilities to take this team fight, so Mirage is going to be able to escape under the cover of the Rolling Thunder. It will expire shortly. Swashbuckle gets him some distance away. Pio actually got to look to try and TP to the Familiars to close the distance, but he will not be fast enough. So D2 Hustlers will get out, just sacrificing the Riki's life, but of course they get all the components of that third Roshan.
Trying to think if Pio would be better off getting this Aghanim Scepter or something like an Overwhelming Blink, you know, just for the little bit of that extra survivability, that way
to... Divine Llama. That's a big kill. They're going to start to TP and to hope to protect the Enigma. Black Holes at the ready. They're doing a great job to hold him into place. The BKB is now being wasted, so the Hex is there to counter his life. But meanwhile, Shad, well, he's getting the damage in from the southern side. No response. Mobile will try and kick him away. Maybe Snowball to buy enough time to get the blink out, but there's the Sleeping Dart to stop the escape as D2 Hustlers will catch up to the Tusk, and they're already looking for more as well. Mirage trying to close the distance onto Cube.
They know
Wink should be okay.
Yeah, they'll back off entirely.
Hang on, they're going back in though on Ivy. Inside the river, Omi and Vincento find the kill onto the Train Protector, but now it means that the Visage is in a compromised position, so Shad can easily get the damage out as Ivy. Well, I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know if the kill onto the Train Protector is worth it at all.
It is definitely not worth it. I mean, that was optimistic at best. I mean, they entered optimistically and they left Misty optically, but it just feels like it's going to give D2 Hustlers so many chances to be able to now push in onto this high ground. You've got double damage on the Lina as well, level 27. Gleipnir backpacked, so just the damage output that's capable from them is insane.
We saw how much emphasis they were putting on to try and shut down the threat of the BKB Black Hole, but all that time was spent not addressing the Lina. So Lina just doing Lina things, machine gun from downtown, and when we've seen what happens with this hero when you're able to freely right-click.
With the double damage. And I'm sure he's making sure to tip him saying, why are you clearing out my creeps, bro? Now I'm going to lose my fiery soul stacks. So just looking to do the most work that he can in the meantime, and oh, there we go. Divine Llama even doing his best to, I'm assuming, pull this closer to Shad, but looks like he'll be happy enough just to take the neutrals.
And happy enough to get that full set of barracks. And still playing, of course, with that Roshan advantage as well. So even though Ivy about to respawn, Hustlers with everything they would need to take a successful team fight, and maybe this will be the last smoke to end this game. They're going to move into by Llama. BKB, no hesitation onto the Leshrac. Just take him out of the equation. And now Shad will cut away another member as well. Zelina, there's no response. In she goes. The damage is too much for them to handle. Snapfire sent to the grave. And meanwhile with the backline, Mobile has been able to dress Mirage, but they'll turn it back around. And LSA onto 2 underneath the T4 towers. A dieback for Pio. How do they deal with Shad? And it won't matter. They led it through the first phase once again, and you need to respect Shad's leaners. Once again, D2 Hustlers will be victorious, and in the end, taking the series in 2-0 fashion.
It's another one of those instances where you reach that timing with the Skadi, and the win probability just spikes up in favor of the D2 Hustlers. It was